Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CSR Main here. We're continuing with the Zelda 2 Randomizer 2023 Standard Tournament Grand Finals. We've got ourselves Game 5 here between Chromataclysm and MiRai. Just wrapped up Game 4, and we're back with more action. I'm Star. For this race, we'll have Eleanor joined with Nightcrawler for comms. Take it away, you two.
Hello? I can't believe it. It's come down to the final game of the entire tournament, and I couldn't be more hyped because both Chroma and MiRai are racers and just people in general who I think are fantastic. Um, and yeah, this is going to be so exciting.
I'm so excited. This is Game 5. This is what I wanted. This is, I think, what everyone wanted, the runners included, although maybe not MiRai. would have preferred to have won Game 4, and it was a close Game 4, but just MiRai making up a bunch of time, but not quite enough at the end. Also, we're gonna hand wave away a little bit of a key requirement that didn't end up coming into play. But yeah, the clean slate, Game 5. This is the last one, and our runners are both ready to go.
And we got a little bet going on, and someone went hard on MiRai, put a lot of points on him. So right as far as like points go, it's like 80% betting on MiRai and 20% on Chroma. Now personally, I love both these guys, and I think they're both like kind of equal racers. But you were mentioning that MiRai kind of bet against himself like prior to the start of the tournament. He predicted this game between him and Chroma, right?
Yeah, in the bracket predictions on Challenge, MiRai had built his whole bracket and had this finals and Chroma taking the win. You say Chroma taking the win in 5, and I mean here it is. But I'm sure MiRai he's still fighting his hardest. He's still absolutely trying to win here.
Yeah, I'm only a little bit worried that he might psych himself out because like MiRai is not immune to that sort of thing. Oh, we got early boots.
Again.
Are we on islands secretly?
Yeah, the very beginning of the previous race, literally the only thing you could do was get boots. It was hard boots blocked from the beginning. There was one cave, it had boots, and then you're off.
Well, I'm sure these runners appreciate it. I mean, boots save time, they save encounters, they make it so you have to do less backtracking, and getting that immediately can lead to an easier seed.
Yeah.
Go west to find the flute. Okay, cool.
Yeah, 50-50 to be required today, but our runners likely to full clear the west before they go anywhere else, especially since we've got a very vanilla-like... It's vanilla-like pretending to be a canyon, it looks like.
You think it's vanilla-like? I think it might be islands and they started on a big one.
I don't know. Maybe... Definitely looks like vanilla.
Well, you know better than me.
yeah, I have gone deep into the terrain generation recently, but it's hard to say sometimes 100% for sure anything without seeing more of the map. But it definitely feels like vanilla-like so far.
Yeah, last time. Oh, we got free lives in the drop pool. All right,
yeah.
And we definitely see a little bit of a divergence in the level up strategy. You know, as usual, MiRai trying to be a healthy boy, and Chroma wants to hit things hard.
Yeah, we've got a Saria sighting, but MiRai thinking about doing Medicine Cave first, decides against it.
Jump Town. I think we're in. I think we're going to Jump Town.
Yeah, and what was west here? The boots. Thanks.
What a helpful fellow this guy is.
I swear, the hints are random. There is not anything specifically in the seed to only give you hints for items that you already have. But boy, does it feel like it sometimes.
Yeah, I think the hint is basically just, an excuse for the developer or developers, to troll everybody.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to be jumping very high. How high? 63, it looked like.
That is expensive, but at least they can cast it. Each pixel on that bar is one magic point, and each tile is 16. Each of those bars is 16 pixels wide. Being 16, that's how it works, so that's 64. So it leaves them with one magic left to cast, I don't know, like Firebolt or something.
Yeah, but the castable versus not castable is going to make a big difference. If we see a down stab coming up.
Gorillas in the dark. That's a scary thing. Like, honestly, if someone released like a horror movie called Gorillas in the Dark, I would probably be afraid to rent that at the local Blockbuster.
Yeah, and both enemy or both runners finding great stuff in the drop pool. It's got keys and 1-ups in it.
Yeah, very good. It's going to be very helpful for making the way through palaces because, of course, once you get fairy, you can use those lives to death abuse and cast fairy more, and of course, keys also open doors.
Yeah, MiRai realizing that he had looped around basically back to start and taking an up A, saving about half a screen worth of pathing, and here's a bridge.
Oh wow, and it's right by... Okay, I mean, like, not the best, but it's just right there. You'll take it.
Yeah, very low effort for a not great reward. Meanwhile, we're gonna see some very spooky enemies here in this east.
Levers are spooky when you're at 5 minutes into the game and one hit can KO you.
Yeah, and MiRai is going to be able to see the Moas at least, which helps a lot.
All right, let's see what item you found here, MiRai. Okay, they're getting all the tools.
They had that blocked cave right next to where Medicine Cave was, so they're going to be able to find something there.
Yeah, that's very true.
MiRai decided he doesn't want to walk out. He's just going to check it right away.
And so now nothing can stop them on the overworld except for the flute on east, but they kind of know where the flute is going to be. So, I don't know. For me, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to go back and explore west and, just finish that up, because then literally nothing could stop me on the overworld.
Yeah, and the sort of the icing on the cake here is that MiRai doesn't have to walk out of this cave, right? Like he could just take it up A. It saves you the time of walking out and useful stuff right here. Yeah, both runners gonna make that decision. Just get out of here. And man, so many free keys. The way the drop pool works, while we're just covering over it, here's the prophesied flute. There's 8 different items that can be in the drop pool. And what the game does is there's a 25% chance for each item to be in the pool. And then there's 8 slots for each enemy type. And it always puts at least one of each item that's in the pool into the available slots. And then each of the rest of the slots are filled up at random. So if there's if our drop pool happens to have 50-point P bags, keys, and extra lives, each one of those is always at least 1/8. But it could be, 5/8 keys and 2/8 lives and 1/8 50-point bags or something like that. So that's sort of randomized separately. So seeing a lot of keys sort of suggests that, it is actually pretty common in the pool.
True. And you know what? I would actually be really excited for the final game to give so many keys, because that would basically tell the runners, oh hey, you don't have a key officially yet. You don't have the magic key. You don't have fairy. But you know what? If you really want to,
yeah. I mean, MiRai has enough keys. I think MiRai has at least 3 keys in reserves. He absolutely could do some out of logic palacing here.
And I love that because it can be a big reward, and it can be a big hindrance, so it could lead to some pretty wild swings in the play of the game, especially because when you're going out of logic, I mean, the racers, even if both racers decide to go out of logic, they're probably going to do it in different palaces.
Yeah, well, if MiRai was going to do out of logic palaces, P1 was right there, and he seems to have decided against it.
Understandable, I suppose. A little sad, but understandable. We got the raft tile. I guess the raft could technically hold these guys up. you could get some freaky stuff happening with a raft, I guess.
Yeah. Am I gonna pick up Thunder Spell? It's one required spell down. Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, from MiRai's perspective, I understand the feeling of, well, I could gamble on one, but there's so many easy checks still freely available on the West. I might as well just do the easy stuff, full clear out everything I can on the West, and then think about where to go next, be it Palace Gambling, the Maze, or back to the East.
And here's where these guys are just better than me. Like if I came across Maze Island like that and I was like, hey, I got the boots, you know, let me just check out Maze. There's 2 guaranteed items here and all that. I think that not doing it in this case is the right choice because there's still a lot of West to clear, and they might find if you can do it all in one go and get the palace taken care of, and you know, possibly have. I guess we've seen the raft tile, so even if there was a raft tile on Maze Island, it wouldn't be useful. But you get the idea. Like, doing Maze Island a little bit later is actually potentially much more ideal. So that's a good decision.
Yeah, and MiRai is... Okay, I think you hit that right. I think that's just P5. Yeah, and MiRai just wants to check everything, and it's with this being vanilla-like and looking like it's pretty open, it's just so easy to do all these checks, and you can determine what you want to do elsewhere later.
And MiRai finding the tiny sailor, so that's cool. He's got the... Yeah?
The biggest reason to do the maze would be if you're sort of pessimistic about your likelihood of being able to keep going. Then you may think, well, I've got to clear the rest of the West, and I've got to clear the maze. But if I don't find a raft or something, well, MiRai finds a glove just hanging out in the West, just like in the previous seed.
Yeah.
Yeah, big, very big. But yeah, if you are thinking, well, if Maze and the West don't have anything for me, I'm going to have to go east. You could say, so your pessimistic rousing is, let me do the Maze now, so that when I clear the rest of the West, I can just up A from the West, rather than having to walk all the way back to the Maze to check that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that exploration off the Maze certainly paid off, because now they don't have to worry about getting stuck with a glove block inside that palace. Now, of course, the palace that's in there, we know it's not going to be Palace 1, so there's going to be probably more keys required if they did decide to do out of logic. And there's always a possibility of a fairy block, but you know, even just 12 minutes in here, we have most of the tools that the players are going to need throughout this whole game.
Yeah, I also missed what medicine is for, but it is in the maze.
Water of life, please come in.
Okay, Star confirming that it is fire. So that'd be another reason that the maze could be valuable, right? If you did the maze first and at least got your 2 items, you'd be able to pick up fire spell there, right?
That could be cool.
I don't think while both runners did decide the same thing to go back and not do that maze, I don't think it's clear cut. I think either way could have been valuable. Sort of, if you're being pessimistic about your routing chances, then, or you just want to be Chroma and gamble that there's going to be nothing there. He's not even going to the maze. He knows now that one of the 2 items is not going to be required for him.
Very interesting, kind of the difference between their body language. I know that our viewers can't see it, but Chroma seems to be pleased and confident. Like, you know, a lot of nodding and yeah, that's cool. Whereas MiRai's over here kind of shaking his head from time to time. So, yeah, just a slight difference in how these runners perceive things, even though I would say MiRai is probably like a minute ahead in overworld exploration, I would maybe say.
Yeah, hard to say for sure, but they're both taking very, very similar routes. You know, neither runner wanted to go and check the maze. Both runners going to check this section off the coast immediately. I'm sure both of them have had the case before where, you know, something's hiding along the coast across these mountains, and you miss it and it screws your race up. Ooh, interesting. MiRai looking all the way to the right there, he knew it was a dead end, but by sticking his face over there, he does get confirmation there's a town.
Yeah, Tofiel. Yeah, point taken, Tofiel in chat. Yeah, I love it when the randomizer does that, when it, you know, hides something on the coast, you know, just out of sight. That's one of my favorite things. Oh, we got our first magic container of the race. That's interesting.
We also got our first hidden moas of the race. 2 of them hanging out in this risen cave.
That's kind of scary at Life 3. MiRai has actually been leveling up his attack level preferentially to Life, because I think he would have had an opportunity for Life 4 over Attack 3. So seeing him get that attack level at this point is a little surprising. He usually is preferential for Life.
Oh man, with this being a Mountainous East, we had a higher than usual chance of a Rivel Devil requirement, but nope. He's just guarding a little dead end, hanging out there, having lunch.
Speaking of garden, we are now going to be defeating the most difficult boss in the game, the Fountain Golem. To defeat the Fountain Golem, you have to stick out your hands and cup them together and get dirty water in there, and then feed it to some strange girl in a house, and then you get Fairy Spell.
Yeah, her dad rewards you with an uncastable spell, and you move on your way.
I hate to say, there's got to be bird poop in that fountain, right?
I mean, what fountain doesn't?
It's terrible. And that's how Salmonella killed the town of Naburu.
Yeah, but Chroma going straight up north and then west. A little curious, MiRai could have gone east to that little wooded path to that town that he saw along the coast. We'll see if he goes back there, but he is going to check this town first, pick up his fairy spell.
More magic on the water tile. I feel like that water tile is going to evaporate pretty quickly. It's in the middle of a desert. So
yeah, it's fed by an underground spring, so it comes back up again.
That's actually a pretty cool concept. I like it. Oh yeah, Desert Oasis, that's a thing too,
Yeah.
If I was in Mido, yeah, you know what? I kind of want to see a medicine tournament, because fire can be pretty clutch when you have fire link spells. Of course, you know, if it's fire link jump or fire link shield, or, you know, at this level, even fire link life, it's not going to be a huge impact, or fire link spell. But
yeah,
fire link thunder, of course, is always hype.
It was fire link reflect in the last race and saved Chroma a couple minutes. So
yeah, fire link reflect is actually pretty good, because I think you can. It becomes affordable like one level earlier. Would you say that's accurate? And
yeah, roughly. But the big difference is as your magic level starts to get higher, reflect stays relatively expensive, but fire tends to get very cheap, and so you can sort of afford to use reflect as just a safety spell a lot more when it's linked to fire. You know, just block some doom knocker hammers or something.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, just being able to use reflect, which is normally not very feasible in a lot of situations, you know, just for some safety, that's a nice benefit. Oh gosh, Chroma, sort of misrecognizing this room. However, he did get an item out of it.
Yeah, and I think he may have just been trying to get enough experience to get this level up so he could up A, because he's gonna have to go through here anyway. Did MiRai hit the statue on the way out?
I didn't see if he hit the statue on the way out.
So. Oh, he forgot to hit the statue and he's going back for it? Maybe? Nope, he's just going to use a key. Yeah,
Isn't the
that's
statue on the other. Isn't the one on the left the one that drops and that you can despawn the door with?
I don't know about that one, but definitely this one as well, the glow block one. You can despawn the door.
Speaking of doom knockers, this is oh yeah, that's a very blue room. Blue enemies, blue rooms. Now we just need blue lava.
Yeah, plenty of blue keys as well here.
Oh man, a second death in that room. Chroma's gonna drop all that experience that he may have been building up on the floor if he takes another death.
Yeah, MiRai finds the item, but just a heart.
I think what Chroma is doing right now, running, is a good idea. Especially since the Doom Knockers really aren't that worth it to kill. They're only 50 experience. And there's an example of the despawnable door. Chroma dropped the enemy out of that 50-50 statue, and if he... I believe that the door may still despawn if you kill that enemy, right? Or does it?
Yeah, you have to kill. You have to kill the enemy or get the jar. If you spawn the enemy but don't kill him, it's still alive. Yeah, that little glitch is the same glitch as the old glitch that caused item rooms to despawn in previous versions of the randomizer. It has to do with the way the game keeps track of what things you have and haven't picked up. It's a little bit dumb.
Interesting. Chroma up an egg.
Yeah.
Did he get his level? I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did either. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. I'm not sure why he went. That's a pretty much vanilla room that he unfortunately maybe didn't recognize that. But it's still a short P6, so he's not gonna lose that much time.
And double death, MiRai not quite jackhammering fast enough and takes a bop. But he's got 6 lives in reserve, so I believe in his ability to get this one.
Yeah.
Okay, gets hit in the same way, but he's at full life this time, so he'll be able to do it safely this time. And just gonna do a 3 cycle instead of a 2 cycle. Not a huge difference.
1,000 experience? That's pretty juicy for one little snake.
Yeah, that is a +1 or a +2.
I think Chroma's gonna be glad for that heart container.
Yeah, it's a timely heart at the very least. Also, we know that this is the way, because this is the way that MiRai took to get here to the boss.
This is the way.
Yeah, he's going to be the first one on the board with the first jump place. This time, 21 minutes in instead of 30 or 40. Sure, he's going to feel a lot better about that one.
Yeah. Exterior rooms making you really feel like you're moving around the palace instead of just inside the palace. Cool stuff.
Yeah, I think room background shuffle is a thing that might be a fun one to implement coming up.
Oh gosh, it's another death for Chroma. He has 1 life left though.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little scary when he gets to Barba.
Yeah. Cast your fairy, I think.
He doesn't want to. I mean, this is his last life. He does need to get through the door after he kills Barba, so...
True, yeah. He's got keys, though.
Yeah, probably. I don't actually know what his count is at, but he's been despawning a lot of doors, so...
Yeah.
Okay, well, he had at least 1.
He had 1, yeah. I think Barba's this way, right? Because it was pretty short, and he's been taking a meta route, so...
Yep, okay.
There it is.
He's thinking about despawning the room, but
I think he's trying to set up Barba.
Yeah, is he resetting the room to get the manip here? For people who haven't seen this manip before, this applies to vanilla as well. In this version of this room, if you just hold right as you're coming in and go full speed, you always get Barba starting in the right pit. There are manip. You could do that manip in the elevator versions of this room, but because it's really easy to just hold right. Getting getting a frame perfect elevator exit is a lot harder.
Wow, that fight that Chroma just had made me a little bit nervous, I gotta say.
It's real spooky, but he makes it through. Game over would have been rough there. That would have cost him like 2 or 3 minutes.
Barba kind of put Chroma's feet to the fire, as it were. Oh, very nearly, at least.
Okay, so MiRai's looking...
Chroma smoothly avoiding that encounter.
Alright, so Reflect is going to be vanilla here. And MiRai's going to pick it up as well as his upstab.
I'll say, I think that's something that Chroma does better than MiRai, avoiding encounters and stuff. Because he's got all that vanilla experience, and that's something that hasn't really changed from vanilla. Like, the way the enemies move on the overworld.
MiRai, what are you doing? You have Fairy, just cast Fairy.
You got, to save that tiny fraction of a second from the super jump.
If you have Fairy, if you don't have Fairy, doing super jump saves time even if you miss like 3 or 4 times. Like, it does save a lot of time. So it's worth doing multiple attempts on.
Yeah.
If you have Fairy, you have to hit it first try to save any time.
Yep. And even then, it's like 1/4 of a second or something, or maybe half a second. It's not a lot of time.
Yeah, but not a huge difference either way. But
because if you think about it, once you clip, you still have to jump again, and since you have the jump spell activated, you're gonna soar into the heavens when you do that, and then you have to wait for yourself to fall back down to the chimney.
Yeah, it is like there's a couple of different pixels you can hit there. And you could just cleanly make the jump without clipping, and get up onto the roof. But the problem is that you still need to jump, even if you do make the clean jump to the top, because you need to get into the chimney and it's a tile up, so you have to jump regardless. Yeah, so you're gonna go into the stratosphere. But okay, so that's go mode from MiRai. We haven't seen where that raft leads. It could very well be the only way to get to Death Mountain, but we know that you don't need to get to Death Mountain today.
I have a feeling MiRai is not going to be picking up fire.
Yeah, no, where MiRai is going to be going to palaces as he immediately jumps into P4. Okay, me and missed. Thanks to chat for remembering that there was a cave to DM from the east. Also, no one cares. We will not be traveling to Death Mountain today, regardless.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think we will go there. Is it possible that? No, we don't. We probably. It's virtually impossible that we'll need raft at this point.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, I know there aren't even enough connectors left for it to be a segment or anything. I think we are hard not raft required.
Okay.
It's possible, like, there could be an any key there that would, like, logically be required to beat GP. But with so many keys in the drop pool, I think if that room comes up, our runners are just gonna farm out a key.
Yeah. I haven't been paying attention to which drop pools the keys are in. That would be...
Yeah, it's the small enemies for sure on the west.
Okay.
I don't know if they're in other pools, but...
That's a good enemy to drop keys.
Yeah, for sure.
500 point payback in the drop pool, too.
Timely life refill from MiRai. He's thinking about it. Take the life, MiRai. Nope,
Interesting.
He doesn't want it. He wants to get attack.
Magic?
I don't know. I'd just take life at that point, but I also am bad at this game.
I'm just so used to seeing MiRai like turn his nose up at attack, you know. So, but then again, he doesn't really need that much magic with all these keys. So, I don't know. I guess he's gonna do attack.
Yeah, MiRai, Chroma doing a little bit of a gamble in Spell Tower. Presumably looking for an any key. That would be by far the most time-saving item at this point, but doesn't get it.
Here we go.
Chroma also trying to do the super jump instead of Fairy. He gets it second try. That probably doesn't lose too much time, but Yeah, if you've got fairy, just cast fairy.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I don't, Jake Cooper saying he doesn't understand why Chroma went to the spell tower. I mean, Jake Cooper's, one of our top racers as well. For those who, don't visit us often, so Cooper knows what he's talking about. I mean, me personally though, if I'm already in like halfway through Mikusudo, that's a pretty easy item pickup. I probably would do it, but I mean, I'm not a finalist. I didn't even I'm not good. So
yeah, and when it's game 5 of the finals, your opponent is fast. They can clear stuff quickly. You gotta gamble somewhere. And maybe that's just the point that he decided, if there's a magic key here, I can save a bunch of time. This is the gamble I'm going to make. This is where I'm going to put down. But yeah, it doesn't pay off for him. MiRai's routing in P4 also not paying off for him. Finds a dead end, but he did get that attack level before upping, so not going to lose too much.
I'm assuming that's probably going to be his last one.
Yeah, we're probably going to see, I suspect, 556, and then we're going to see some gems get burned. So MiRai gonna go down the Canadian hole this time after making the jump previously.
You don't see the Canadian hole in too many games nowadays, so it's nice to see a return.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's it's a drop, so some of the drop logic is a bit wonky, and there's so many rooms in the pool. It would be sometimes some of the vanilla rooms you feel like you see a lot, because there's so many versions of that room, right? If a room is in vanilla 4 times, it's in the room pool 4 times as well. So that's a fairly unique room, so it just doesn't come up nearly as often. But
another heart just in the way. Just walk into a heart.
Yeah, and I think Jake Cooper commented, chat here, pretty accurate. Any key typically saves a lot of time, especially with how common keys have been in the drop pool and how available magic has been for our runners. Any key not going to save a ton of time, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, the only spooky thing, right, is where are you going to see that key required room in GP? We saw it last race. Although, wow, okay, keys are also, I had forgotten this from before. Keys also the drop from bosses, so even in GP, they're going to get a key from killing Thunderbird, so that makes the key required room just even less likely to be relevant.
Yeah, totally. Now, Capsaicin Jacques in chat asking, why is it the Canadian hole? I know when I first heard that, I thought it was like a reference to soakers, like you're walking along and your foot falls in the, in a hole in the pavement that you couldn't see because it was filled with water. I figured that's what it was, because that's such a common thing to happen like in Canada and New England and stuff, from my understanding. But no, it's because there was like a Canadian racer who kept falling down there like repeatedly. I don't remember which racer it was though. Yeah,
it loses a lot more time in random typically than in vanilla, but
yeah. And you might be wondering why you don't see stuff like Canadian hole in Chroma missed it, but I think it was down was the correct way anyway, right?
Yeah, down was the correct way. So
this is one of the harder brick patterns to successfully get the Canadian hole on because
you can't easily see where the tile border is.
Yeah, and also the way these tiles scroll kind of can make make your eyes kind of sick.
Yeah, it depends on. It's probably a little blurrier with the stream encoding, but yeah, it can be tricky to line up. Thankfully, with jump spell, not so bad. Trying to do it without jump spell is painful. Also, worth noting, the logic does not require jump spell for that room. It is 100% in logic to have to do that room the hard way, and it can be tricky.
Yeah, and in the previous room jam, where most of our custom rooms came from, or probably at least 2/3 or something like that. We like using invisible walls was kind of like taboo. I think, you know, in the GP elevator rooms where you expect to check the sides of the walls, I think they were okay with that, but it's just not fair to expect players to have to memorize like 10 more Canadian drop, you know, rooms. So
Yeah, for sure. I am not a big fan of invisible walls in general.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
as the next Drum Jam comes around, it's pretty likely we're gonna stick to that rule of no invisible walls unless it's really, you know,
Obvious.
something like, you know, if you want to make some more, especially like rooms that are variations of vanilla rooms that have invisible walls, I'm a little bit more okay with, because, you know, again, there's sort of an expectation that players are at least familiar with vanilla. Otherwise, you know, we'd like take out the vanilla, stupid, ridiculous invisible wall room, because that room is, I mean, it's okay in vanilla because there's a hint part, right? There's a guy who tells you, you know, go through the wall at the dead end in whatever. But it's invisible walls are a design decision that I think everyone reasonably doesn't like.
Yeah. Even as cruel as I am, you know, I'm kind of like a bit of a sadist to our runners sometimes. Oh, jeez, there's that link feet awesomeness that we expect from Chroma.
Yeah, good catch it, chat. By invisible wall, we of course mean visible not wall.
The invisible hole. By definition, all holes are invisible.
Chroma really wants to link feed this. You have magic, just cast fairy.
Eventually did. Yeah. And actually, Chroma has life spell, which is pretty interesting. Do you know if MiRai has that too?
I don't believe he does. It's not marked as tracker, and also, MiRai is not the kind of person to knowingly take life spell.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, with 8 containers. We're gonna see him pick up Magic 5, and that maybe his last level. He may decide to take one more and get like 6 here. I know 5, 5, 6 is typically where he likes to stop.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he feels in games like this, but I see him go to like life 7 sometimes. But you know, that's in kind of lower brackets and weekly and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it sort of depends on, you know, how the palaces look and what order he's doing them, and one thing that matters a lot is whether you're up-Aing or continuing on, because like if you're gonna walk out of the palace anyway, then the only time you're losing by not burning the gem is the time it takes the gem to physically rise. And for your meters to refill. But if you're planning on up-Aing, then you would have to normally, if you were going to take the gem, you'd also have to wait for your experience to tick all the way up before you up-Aid. Whereas if you're walking out, you can let that experience roll up while you're walking outside. So you only lose about half as much time taking the gem on times you're going to be walking out. One of the reasons that I'm a big fan of Palace's continuing past bosses is that encourages you a little bit more to take the levels, because you want to see what's hanging out behind the boss.
Yeah, could be items behind there.
Yeah, could be the child required for Reflect hanging out behind Kirok, like there was
wait,
in a bug seed someone found.
Say it ain't so.
There was a bug in one of the early 4.2 releases where the logic didn't think you needed to Reflect to beat Kirok, and no one noticed it because you know, it's a pretty rare set of circumstances that could lead to it until someone did finally find it. It's like, oh no.
Trails in chat, DJ Trails, also mentioning the game kind of cut corners, and I don't see that as the worst thing because, like, some of the ways that the game cut corners actually kind of gives us some extra leeway in terms of what we do with the game.
I think what Trails was saying is that the runner should be aggressively trying to save as much time as they can, and I definitely understand that, right? Like, it's the finals. You gotta go, right? And Mirai knows that he is in go mode, and so he should be going, and he is to yet another palace. He is just absolutely put a foot on the gas, and he is now a full palace, although it's a palace 1 ahead.
Yeah, I was kind of misreading that. I was like, the first 2 parts of that sentence don't mix with the last part. Oh well. You know what? This room that Mirai is in right now, this can be like such a tough room when you're first learning how to play Zelda 2. Those bullets and like the skellies coming at you. But once you kind of get your flow, it's actually a very fun room.
Yeah, it's interesting that a lot of, because when you're looking at rooms and you're thinking, how am I going to design these rooms? You sort of have to take into consideration, is this room going to work well with different shuffled enemy types?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you get a room and it's like, well, it's kind of good as designed if enemy shuffle is off, but it's got a couple weird things in it. But sometimes, yeah, you just sort of, it just happens to be the case either accidentally or because someone tested it really well that all the different enemy types play well and the room is just super smooth. And those are the best rooms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can think of a couple rooms. Not pointing any fingers at myself, where things change dramatically based on what enemies get put into them.
Yeah, but that room is, it was my assumption that room was intentionally chaotic.
I intended for Goombas to be in the bottom so that they still threaten you a little bit. So like that was a worst case scenario for that. But when all the enemies in there turned to large enemies, that's a little too much. So
yeah. Well, it's also a little bit too much for the NES as it despawns several of the enemies.
Yeah. And nobody ever goes to the bottom because, they died a couple times on the bottom and got traumatized out of going for the jar.
Yeah. I mean, there's a jar there, though.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, a lot of it depends on, what the likelihood of the jar being there is, right? Like,
it depends on what palace you're in.
Yeah. It could be 0%, could be 100%.
Yeah. All right, boss time for Chroma. That's gonna be one dead horse.
Yeah, we had said Mirai was a P1 ahead, and that's been closed up now by Chroma, but now Mirai is half of a whatever palace is it? I don't actually remember. It feels like P5.
Yeah, we would have to be paying closer attention to the entrance to know the difference because, for those who don't know, P5 and P2 have similar graphical elements.
Check confirming this is P2.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, P5 and P2 are the only palaces remaining for Mirai, so.
Yeah, exactly. But you never know. I mean, maybe he was getting nostalgic. He wanted to go check another palace.
That would be a game-losing mistake. A tournament-losing mistake. Wow. Okay, Mirai finds the item room, and this is what it's saying, like, right? Mirai finds that item room, and he's like, I don't need items. I don't care. I need to go fast. And he is just going to turn right around.
Yep, and you can also see from the windows on Chroma's side, it's kind of got that cross-hatch or lattice work, sort of. The diamond lattice over the windows, that's P2. P5 is probably the most recognizable window in the game. It's got the sort of stained glass.
Yeah, it's very cool. Although I always think of the P6 windows as being jail bars because I'm stuck in there and I can't leave.
Yeah, gosh. Yeah, P6 does like to make you suffer sometimes, doesn't it? Kermer broke the blocks to the music. I wish I had the volume on for that.
Yeah, absolutely could come down to GP routing. I mean, that's in theory. GP came down to routing last time. Our runners 4 seconds apart coming in. Unfortunately, Mirai, in addition to not taking the correct route until last, also did not have the required any key shortly before Dark Lake, so it looked like it would have been very close if Chroma didn't sort of have a required item and also guess correctly.
Yeah, very exciting. Now, of course, MiRai's got the edge, but it's not a huge edge. Anything can still happen at this point, and I mean, you just take just the last palace into account. Like, not even talking about the locked door. Chroma did gamble on the correct left before MiRai did. They were sort of neck and neck. They crossed over each other, and Chroma was like, "I'm leaving and going back to start," and that got him a decent amount of time. And I think that amount of time is kind of what separates MiRai and Chroma right now. So it's striking distance in those sorts of situations, and there's the stained glass I was talking about. But both players are in striking distance of each other still, quite a bit.
Yep. So MiRai taking what is the fastest way to do this. He went all the way down the elevator, checked the bottom, and then he saw that it was because the room at the bottom spit him out all the way on the left, and the room he was in, he was fairly close to the right. It was faster to go back up and go right than it was to go right from the bottom. So he's just, MiRai's, instead of having 2 jumps placed at 45 minutes, he has 5 jumps placed. So he probably is much more confident that he is in good position here and wants to stick just to meta routing, try to go fast.
I go fast.
Yeah, meanwhile, Chroma basically taking the same route as MiRai did through this P4. Not a particularly fast one, but not going to lose time either. And both runners just getting absolutely showered in keys.
Oh, many keys. That was the same room in different palaces where they both got 2 keys.
Yeah, and that's actually, and one of them was a shuffled small item, and one was an enemy drop. So not too likely to be the case either.
That's crazy. Well, I think, honestly, I could see these guys not picking up keys anymore at a certain point, because they're getting toward the end of these palaces, and it's very, I wouldn't be surprised if Chroma had like 8 keys at this point.
Yeah, I think you want to have enough keys that you're absolutely sure that even if you get the key required room in GP, and, you get trolled by a couple keys or something on the way, you want to be absolutely sure that you're going to be clear that room, that you're not going to need to go get the any key. And what is that number? I don't know, for MiRai, probably 4 or 5 at this point, which I think he's probably at. So
yeah, the keys are building up. Can keys underflow? They go to letters and stuff.
I don't actually know if they can underflow. But I know that you can get up to 255. With if they can underflow, then it's not likely to come up from these runners. And wow, MiRai going all the way to the end of the path of P5 and just finding the item room, and it's a candle.
Which I'm a little surprised. Okay, hold on.
He knew he needed to up A anyway, so it's worth checking at that point. Although all it could be would be a magic container, like an any key would not be useful at all for him. So
right. Yeah, he went experience when he recently killed. Oh wait. No.
Yeah, I'm more interested in if you can overflow lives.
Yeah.
I've seen someone get up to someone who was playing on a beginning runner was playing on a fairly easy flag set with extra lives, ended up being pretty common in the drop pool, and also didn't ever take any up A's or anything. I think they got up to 60 lives or something like that, and still so many. But yeah, the game for keys and lives, it goes 0 to 9, and then it uses the letters A to Z, and then you start getting it starts just moving further into graphics memory, and you start to get little pieces of the menu frame and stuff.
It's kind of funny. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's possible that getting hundreds of lives would cause an issue related to running past the end of graphics memory before it actually caused an overflow. But I've not actually tested any of that. This is just my understanding of things.
I mean, if it's representing a character, even if it gets to like part of the data, it'll still like just put some like stuff that looks like static, right? Because I mean,
yeah, usually.
when you like look at when you open like YYCHR and you like look at the coding or the music and stuff like that, it just you can see it visually. It's just a matter of how the game decides to read that portion of the data, really.
Yeah, MiRai very upset about this P5. He is just taking every wrong way, but it's probable that Chrome is also going to do the same thing here.
Meta routing. We're going to have these guys follow each other. But
yeah, I mean, meta routing is the routing that minimizes the average time it will take you to clear the palace. But it is not a guarantee at all that it will take you the right way.
I love P5. Zardia saying P5 doing P5 things? Yes, but that's why I love it.
Alright, here's an elevator. Boss, please. Nope, another fork. And MiRai's he's going left. He's decided that this is where he wants to go. You must have seen the bottom part of that elevator somewhere else. Okay, and MiRai has finally hit the point where he has decided he doesn't need any more keys.
Yeah, Chroma could make a comeback here. I had refrained from saying that because I'm kind of lost.
Oh, okay, no, MiRai did still want that key. He's got to be on like 8 keys now, right?
My God, there's more keys and they're still picking them up. I think they can stop picking them up now. I think they're good. I mean, right. I guess the key room could come into play multiple times in GP.
It's gotta be a boss here, right?
Oh, Chroma found it!
Oh, what? Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
Oh.
That's a huge upset. Chroma was probably like a minute and a half or 2 minutes behind before entering this palace.
Chroma was more than that, like probably 3 or 4 minutes behind, and now he is like 15 seconds ahead.
Oh my God.
What a ridiculous... I mean, we had a huge comeback from MiRai, catching up from being a palace behind previously, and Chroma wasn't nearly as far behind, but he's going to be the first one into GP this time.
Jeez. Yeah, and he burned the gem?
Yeah, man. He knows it's MiRai. Yeah. He's gotta go fast.
No, absolutely. I just I love it, and I know Mirai's gonna burn this too. It's gonna be great. Yeah. So guys, if you notice a smell, that is what like agate that you put in an incinerator smells like, or I guess quartz, or I don't know what these are made out of, but you're smelling it, and it's probably not good for you.
So Chroma in 51-57. MiRai gonna be 15 or 20 seconds behind.
Our racers are gonna be bringing color into this gray palace.
Yeah, that is a very drab looking palace, but it's you know what it reminds me of? It's a Mario 1 castle.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Just fairy. All
right, so 52-26, so about 30 seconds behind for MiRai in this one.
That's tiny.
Yeah. MiRai
we haven't seen any branches yet, right?
Yeah, no. MiRai with a very slight level disadvantage here, but not nearly as much as in the previous race.
Yeah, the fewer branches we see, the more of an advantage that is for Chroma. If we see a lot of branches, that's a lot of opportunities for things to turn around.
Right.
Chroma allergic to fairy? Well, it costs a lot of magic compared to jump and other things, so you try not to use it if you can avoid it.
It's a question of how safe you want to be.
And he's got his life spell, too, so if he takes damage, he can recover it. It's 2 bars, but that's not nothing. Alright, there's our first deviation, and Chroma's gambling hard on left.
Yeah, and we'll see if MiRai goes right, then this could be the race.
Yep.
We've seen a left versus right, you know, which path do you want to take, making a difference before, and if MiRai goes right, then it's going to come down to luck, and if MiRai goes left, it's going to come down to execution. But Chroma with a little bit of a lead, specifically because of his P5 luck, so maybe luck either way. Alright, MiRai's going right, that's what I like to see.
He has made things a little hard for himself, Chroma has. Oh wait, does Chroma not have upstep? Interesting.
I think Chroma has upstab. Yeah, he does have upstab, because he upstabbed the Kingbot in the previous, 2 rooms ago.
Sure, yeah. Okay, and we got another branch here on Chroma's side.
MiRai just getting absolutely trolled with Moa and some bubbles here. The Moa came at him from low, and you don't want to falling crouching stab a Moa on the crumble bridge as a recipe for death.
Oh my gosh. You know what the scariest thing about this is? Since they're both on wildly different routes, and they're both checking rooms so fast that we haven't seen before. Oh man, that's a scary fairy to pick up. The chances that they run across the T-Bird at any moment are going up twice as fast as they normally would. So
did they converge here?
Did they?
Is this it? I think Chroma came up from below here, and MiRai is coming in from the left. I think they have converged back onto the same path. Chroma in the lead, but I think MiRai made up some small amount of time there. I think he made up a screen or two with that path.
That didn't drop. That statue didn't drop a jar? Huh. Thought they did. Chroma looked disappointed about that. I can't say I blame him. He's on low resources, but he's still got all his lives left.
Yeah, and they are now in the same room.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, MiRai was 30 seconds behind here, and now he's about 15 seconds behind? Depends how quickly he clears this room, but he has made up a little bit of time.
Oh my gosh, scary for everyone involved.
Oh, and it's not the way! They both took the same way, and it's wrong!
We do have to keep in mind that with the amount of rooms that they've cleared so far, and they're gonna check each other's initial routes because they have no idea.
Oh, they're not. MiRai's turning around.
Oh,
I think this is the right way to go.
Oh yeah. But then again, there was that when Chroma got to the first junction and he took that left. There was another junction after that, and he could have gone left there.
Yeah, that could be correct. I think there's another way I think there's a left MiRai could take here if he can make it through this room. Oh,
He's
wow.
still got lots of lives, right? So
MiRai cast Thunder, and it killed neither the spicy chicken nor the blue one.
Oh yeah, Thunder's so weak against the enemies in this palace.
Yeah, it's only really good when it's Fire Thunder, and you can just cast it twice or 3 times to kill the enemies.
Yeah. But it's still useful, of course, because you need it for Thunderbird, and because it can clear fireballs and knives, and, the skittering fires and all that stuff.
Yeah. Suicidal Kingbot there, spawning under the bridge.
Although, for those of you entering into the Z2R arena at some point, there is one scary thing about using Thunder, especially in GP. It's considered a hit as if you were hitting with your sword, which means if you don't kill the enemy and pass straight through, it will stop your momentum as if you would hit them with a sword and sort of bounce off. So if you're over a lava pit and you cast Thunder, you could be in for a bad time.
All right, so this is that path MiRai is looking at now. I think Chroma didn't take this path. I think Chroma came in from the left and then went up the elevator. I think MiRai's on new ground if I'm correct, but it's hard to keep track of all these different routes.
I think I feel like Mirai's closer. Something's telling me Mirai's closer to T-Bird. Yeah, because we've seen Chroma's.
Because Chroma could have gone left at the start, and he didn't. He went to the right that Mirai had taken earlier.
Yeah.
But Mirai didn't go left here. Mirai didn't go left at this room. He got the jar and then up 8. Oh my god. Did they just high five? Were they, did they just loop across each other again?
I would love that.
I'm not entirely sure, but I think they may have just high fived. I think left may be the way, and both of the other two paths, or sets of paths, loop into each other.
Greatest anime rivalries: Mirai versus Chromataclysm.
I'm not entirely sure. It's very difficult to keep track of all of this, but I think so. I think we saw this double bird room from Chroma.
Oh. This is good. I'm nervous.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's so hard. It's so hard to keep track of all of this.
Chroma, are you going to make me lose 5,000 thingamajiggers? Rupees? Channel points?
It's a dead end. That route Mirai was not a loop. It was a different way, but it is not the right way. So now is Mirai going to go left at the start? If he does, is he going to go left, or is he going to loop back into where Chroma was?
I feel like Chroma's in a new place. The room that Chroma was just in, I don't think I saw on Mirai's side, but then again, I'm not always paying as much attention. Oh, shoot!
And Chroma has found the right way, and that's a dagger to Mirai.
Yeah, he's still got so many lives. He's got so much resources for this fight and the rooms to come. And they've cleared so many rooms already. I think this is probably it, guys.
Yeah, I mean, once again, both runners so close, and it's coming down to GP routing, and when the runners are both this good and they're just not making mistakes, routing differences are just going to be the race a lot of the time.
But
and we've seen so many rooms, there's got to be a Darkling soon.
Yeah, probably within 3? I'm going to guess 3 rooms. Oh, no. You're taking that lava bath.
It's a lava bath, yeah.
Yeah, ready up that ferry though. Just get through these rooms because you know it's closed.
Yeah, just get out of here.
Oh my god, ferry's so expensive still.
Oh man.
You can't.
If keys weren't literally free,
yeah.
This could have been a really spooky scene to be able to navigate.
Yeah, I mean, we could still have something crazy happen. We could have like a ferry required room. We could have the game force a ferry out of Chroma and then like a ferry block, and then he'd have to up an A, and that would give Mirai.
So this has to be Darkling for your prediction of 3 more rooms.
Yeah, but I want the race to keep going. I want them to be within like half a second of each other. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 3, the correct call.
Yeah. Let me just close my Z2 edit real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, GG. This is the GG for the entire tournament, guys.
Yep, and get your GZs and Tad for Chroma being the second player to get 2 standard tournament wins.
Wow.
Yeah, and Mirai just throwing in the towel, being bested by GP yet again. It sucks, but
was a heck of a GP, but we can't underestimate the effect that the difference in P5 made to this. It's like you were saying, a difference of 4 minutes. I mean, that could have been Mirai doing a whole new up and A and checking in a different direction.
Yeah, it could have made the difference. I don't know if it would have or not. I don't know if Mirai was on the right route at the end there or not, but it could have been big. Hard to say because Mirai, I think, reasonably not interested in finishing that race out. I think he's very upset at GP being GP.
Good game and good tournament, Chromataclysm. Welcome.
Thank you. I am so happy.
These were some races. I think Mariah will probably be here shortly, so I won't go through too much. But a high level overview. In the first race, you were 4 seconds ahead into GP. In the second race, it was 30.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Close
Man,
both ways.
I really enjoyed the Jet Seed second race, but it definitely put me on edge because when everything is laid out that clearly, it's got to be super close.
Yeah, so I guess we could talk about the second race first because it was fresher on our minds. You were behind for a good part of the race. I mean, everything was pretty clearly laid out, but MiRai just was being really, really lean with what he was picking up and how he was progressing through stuff. So he was about half a palace ahead of you, but you gained like 3 or 4 minutes in P5 just because it was a hellscape that you managed to dodge the worst of. And so we thought that you were going to be a little bit behind heading into GP. Turns out you were a little bit ahead. But yeah, I mean,
oh, fantastic.
GP routing, you went left at the start. He went right at the start. They looped into each other. And then
if you kept going right, I'm sure.
Yeah. So when you up-aid, Mirai went backwards and took that right at the bottom of the elevator that you hadn't, like, because you had gone in, gone up, and then gone right, and then hit that dead end. Mirai went back to that elevator, checked the other right. That led to another dead end.
Yeah, there's what I remember is going right in the Jacquemus room and then going at the next available left. Something like that. But it's one of those, a left somewhere was the direction. It just wasn't the first one this time.
Yeah, and Mirai has now joined us. GG, man.
GG.
GG, Mirai. Thanks for throwing the game for me.
Not a problem.
I'm just kidding. I really didn't want to lead with that. In all seriousness, fantastic tournament. I really, really appreciated the competition and everything about it.
Yeah, unfortunately, kind of in both of these races, I mean, it was unfortunate for Mirai, fortunately for the audience, because it was very exciting. Just came down to GP. In the second race, Mirai, you were about 30 seconds behind coming to GP, and in the first race, you were 4 seconds behind coming into GP.
I can't believe I was that close in the first race after I placed, for some reason, I placed the other end of the raft tile in DM and not next to P2. And I walked out of P3 in Death Valley all the way up to the top of the raft tile there. And it immediately hit me that this doesn't go to DM. This goes back to the west. And I need to go back through Saria to the or you know what? Honestly, I did screw that up. I could have walked to the cave at that point. There was a cave.
Yeah,
right? Yep.
yeah. We were thinking that's what you were doing up front, and we were having a discussion of whether that cave or the up-A was faster. We weren't really sure.
Yeah, that's what the confusion was. Yeah.
But yeah, in the first race, it looked like it was going to be really, really close. And you were only a couple screens behind Chroma at the end, but unfortunately, one screen before you up-A'd Mirai was the key required room.
So I was told.
So you were pretty doomed, unfortunately. But Chroma just ended up being a couple rooms ahead, just better guessing. But yeah, that first race was wild. A lot of mistakes from both players. The glove was freely useful from the beginning, and neither of you found it until after finding 2 glove block. You both found both glove blocks before finding that glove. And it was just it was chaos. It was chaos everywhere. And from all of that, you were 4 seconds apart heading into GP, and it's just a wild one to go back and watch.
That one was incredible for sure. Yeah.
And so we got both kinds. We got the what happens if we do everything wrong, and then what happens if we do basically everything right.
Everything right except route P5 correctly.
Except route P5,
yeah.
but
I
mean
P5 about 3
P6,
or 4 minutes of
GP.
difference.
Those bigger palaces are always going to be those routing guesses. I don't know. Overworlds though and the item layouts Not anything particularly complicated in either one, except for us missing the glove. Everything else was pretty straightforward.
I was told I had the glove earlier, but the flute later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah, one of the big differences on that first race was you went off, MiRai, you went off and just explored as your feet took you and found DM and some other stuff and started doing that earlier. Chroma did a more thorough trip through the West, which got him the hammer. So when he hit DM, he thought, well, I've got a hammer. I'm going to walk down this river and find my items and got that flute early. But for quite a length of time, it was Chroma was hunting for the glove in all the wrong places, and you were hunting for the flute in all the wrong places, and it was just a matter of time before you both converged on each other and found the items and got into go mode.
Flute Hand was in Nibiru, which is what put me back in DM.
Yeah, but by the time you got that flute hand, you had gotten.
I was just making sure I didn't have to clear
anyway.
5.
Yeah. Not knowing you don't have to clear 5 is good. Though I suspect you would have done DM over 5 anyway.
Yeah, that second one
that did save you some time on 5.
Second one did feel pretty good. Walk into P5 last palace at 44 minutes, and then walk in the GP at like 52 minutes. Just unbelievable. Could have been in sub 50, and I was so upset about that if that wasn't apparent on the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun watching you guys' differences in in expressions throughout the race.
I definitely left the camera on purpose, like more from MiRai than anybody else. I know that you keep when you're doing restreams, you keep that camera on and you comment on it. It's just another dimension of because that's not part of the restream itself. It's an interesting extra little bit there.
Yeah.
On the second race, we were curious. Ferry was fairly expensive the whole time, but there were so many keys. We were curious at what point both of you would stop picking up keys, because I swear you were starting to hit double digits.
I think 6 was the most I got.
Yeah, that was the most I had as well. But I had 0 plenty of times where Ferry was still 54, and that's why I even bothered to take that last magic level out of 2. Because I was like, I don't want, this. What if there's a bunch of doors in 5? I'm going to be stuck behind doors taking deaths to get through here. And I wasn't, like, keys were coming quickly at times, but then they weren't. It seems like whatever you were killing, if you weren't killing a lot of stuff, you weren't getting a lot of keys. And then near the end, I picked up a bunch of keys in 5 as well. So that's where I think I had 6.
Yeah, it was a very exciting race, all things considered. I was a bit worried because I know sometimes, with the previous race being a loss, sometimes you can psych yourself a little bit, but I didn't really see that in your actual racing, MiRai. You were doing a great job throughout. Of course, P5 was P5, but.
It would have been like a 2-minute P5 had I just held right and not taken another elevator anywhere. It was just hold right, straight right.
Speaking of like decisions on which way to go, Chroma just straight up gambled like his first time in GP, but it kind of didn't matter because you guys passed each other. There were so many loops and backs and forth in that palace. Was
it a left at the glove block elevator?
He took a left. I mean, he took like the first left and then took a right first. Is that right, chromataclysm?
Yeah. I mean, my first time around, I took the first left, and then I could have kept going left. I went up an elevator, and it was a T junction, and I went right. So there were 2 lefts I could have kept going on then. And I guess if it looped around and you were going to the right, then yeah, we would have ended up in a pretty similar place. Yeah, there was something about going right first, and then I'll have to watch it back, but left somewhere after that was that path. And that reminded me of our, I can't remember if it was game 2 or 3, where there were just a handful of loops in GP, and you just had to pick the right left. It was in one of those lava rooms with the fairy. I think that might have been game 3.
Yeah,
But
I don't recall.
yeah, they're, either they're really straightforward or they're really windy. I don't know if this is more the 4.x versions, but I do feel like there's a few more loops in GP than we used to see. And they used to be more windy, or maybe it's just we used to do more long GPs. I really like the shorter GP. Honestly, I feel like it is a little more equal when you're not having to sort through a potentially 20+ minute dungeon because of just how huge it is. If you guess wrong in this, there's only a few other possibilities by comparison. So it does feel a little more even, and all things being pretty even between us in those two games, does sound like it kind of came down to a few guesses, which I would expect. Top players of the game, like I'd hope that's the reason that we're missing each other. Just one little guess here or there.
There was a meme that was developing during the tournament that it was going to be Thunderbird immediately and then Dark Link in the next elevator. And none of our races ended up that way except for the first one where you went left and it was a very quick GP. But yeah, we didn't really have that in these races, which is good. But obviously, if I'm going to go right and the answer's not right, then I'm going to lose here. So I was like, he's going left, I'm going right. Here it is, coin flip. And
So
yeah, unless I don't,
you go left.
There's always I do I
You
go
go
with my
left.
gut most of the time.
Your gut
Most of
is
the
on
time.
the left.
My gut likes left, but not always.
yeah, you know what? You were, you did lose this final race, MiRai, but in a way,
Did I?
well,
Is this not a best of 7? Do we not have 2 more races to schedule?
well,
Is it a
maybe,
win
who
by 2
knows?
situation?
Yeah,
Are you gonna...
yeah, that's right. You can't win until you've cleared the
The-
gap. You're at ace now, Chroma.
It's a best of 3 of best of 5s, actually. So
Oh, perfect.
best of 3, best of 5.
What I was going to mention is Eleanor was reminding me of the prediction you made way at the start, right? Of how of how the brackets were going to go, and that it would come down between you and Chroma, and it would come down to game 5, and that he would win the game 5.
easy prediction. I just won big money, man.
All right, your check's in the mail, Mariah.
People were saying earlier that this race was up on DraftKings, so big money to be won.
Are you serious?
No, I don't.
I don't know how flexible DraftKings is. I don't know.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Maybe it's time to get back into it. Let's see. Not a sponsor.
You do get a trophy in the mail, though, Chroma.
Yay!
He's
add to
already
your
got
collection.
one.
But it's
Two
a
of them,
different
actually.
color this time.
Oh, nice. Is there a picture of it? That
Slightly different design.
There's been pictures posted in the Discord of previous trophies, Nightcrawler. Shout out to VKPKT Patrick, who also tracked our first of these 2 races tonight, who's our member of the community with a 3D printer who does these, which is really nice of him.
Yeah, big thanks.
That's awesome. It's so cool having an actual trophy for the winner. That's great.
Agreed. Man, yeah, I don't know. I'm at a loss at this point. I mean,
You're at a win, my man.
I'm at a
This
win.
Is not a lot. This is
I'm
a
at a
win.
loss for words in the win.
After party.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's the plan.
I'll jump on the
Take
private
it
jet.
easy. Yeah, you're definitely invited. Yeah.
Well,
I got nothing.
We got the Max Rando in the spring, right? And we do anything between then? We doing like
Room
a
jam.
build a flagship? Well, the room jam. Room jams are fun.
Ooh, that's fun.
I hopefully I got some stuff, but hopefully new beta out tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
I'm just
So
polishing the finish. I mean, it's going to be beta. There's going to be bugs, but I want to get it out there and get people doing some races to test them out and trying out some stuff for Room Jam. So please look forward to it.
I'm so excited about this new beta. It's such great work that you've been doing, and with J Boy putting in some awesome work too.
Yeah, shout outs to J Boy for the new buffed Karok.
So cool.
Spoilers.
Buffed how?
You'll see.
Oh,
He's been
damn
listening.
it. We should have made the final between. We should have made the final in the new version. What were you thinking? How's
Exactly.
Ragnar?
It better just be like a sprite swap thing. I want to see the
His robe is off and his muscles are showing.
yeah. Got the MiRai tank going on.
Oh God.
The hood's off. It's MiRai's face.
Oh Jesus.
That'd be pretty classic. Oh man, just giant heads of various racers for the different bosses. You could put a lot of detail if you did that for a Thunderbird. That's a big sprite.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks everybody. It's been a lot of fun.
Yep.
GG's, congrats on the championship with Chroma, and GG's on the run being a runner-up here, MiRai, as well.
Thank you.
A really,
GG again
really
to
good
Chroma.
pair of races from you both tonight.
Yeah, fantastic race, fantastic racers. You know, both of you guys are some of my, you know, of course you're the best racers, and you just proved it. But I also like you guys as people. You guys are both great. So it's good to see you
Thanks.
up here
Thanks,
together.
Nightcrawler.
Thanks, man.
Likewise.
Awesome. All right. Do you wanna? Is that gonna probably do us, huh?
Believe so,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it for me. You want to take us out, Star?
Absolutely. So, GG's on skin, both to both of our runners, Chroma and MiRai. Great pair of races. Great tournament overall for you both. This has been fantastic. GG's Chroma for the championship, MiRai runner-up, and to everyone else who participated. Thank you to all of our runners, our commentators, our trackers, everyone, my fellow race streamers, everyone who helped out the tournament this year. Of course, to the Alan Hapley, our community admin and the tournament organizer, and shout out and GG's as well to everyone who participated as well. GG's as well to the Goblin, especially for taking the Brew Invitational tournament this year. Let's see. So particular shouts to tonight's team. Shout out to our two runners here, our two finalists, chromataclysm and MiRai, to Leonard, to Nightcrawler, to JLo, and to BKPKD Patrick for doing the track commentary and tracking tonight. As discussed, this is the end of the Standard Tournament 2023 here for us. The next main Z2R event will be coming up this spring, which will be our annual Max Rando tournament. So it'll be coming up next year. I assume we'll be seeing you then, Mariah, to defend your title.
Well, we'll see.
But keep an eye on the Discord. Join the Z2R Discord for more updates, for more different information on the Max Rando tournament once that comes out, and also information about that room jam, as well as new beta versions of the randomizer. Shout still on there here as well, not just commentating, but also being our current main dev of the randomizer. There'll be plenty there. We'll continue to have weekly races and just casual pickup races held every now and then, of course. And then we'll have an Upstarts tournament presumably coming up later next year as well, between Max Rando and Standard probably. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested in getting into the randomizer. But for now, I think that is it here for us, both in terms of Z2R and in terms of ZSR. This is the final restream of 2023 for Zelda Speedruns. We'll be taking a break starting tomorrow from then through January 4th. There are no other restreams on the schedule until then. We'll be taking a well-deserved holiday break. So we wish you all happy holidays, whatever you may celebrate, or if you don't, enjoy your time off as well as. And stay warm, stay cozy, and we will see you all next year. Bye, everyone.